What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. Today we are playing a very old track. Now, most of you would have played 2020 Paleta, 99% you would have played Paleta V2. However, how many of you have actually played Paleta V1? And that's exactly what we're doing today. This is a track made by TFC, the man who really has been the biggest driving factor in tracks in MX bikes since its inception. Really, this track dates as far back as 2011. Yep, that's over 10 years ago, and that was around beta free time, from what I can see in the forum post. It was re-uploaded by GDub to the MXB Mods website in God knows like 2018ish, and that's where I came across it on there. And I'd never played it until today. You see, I've run a single lap on it just to have a ride around, and at first I was quite curious to see if you know how big of a difference there is between Paleta V2 and Paleta 2020. I was wondering how much a difference there would be between 1 and 2. For the most part, the terrain all seems very similar. It's more so objects and off-track stuff. So you see this track, we've got white tape around the edges of the tracks rather than the orange fences, and it might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I think I prefer the tape. I like the more minimalist kind of look, and it's something that you kind of see a bit more often here in the UK. I know it's meant to represent more of a Cali type track in TFC's own words. Obviously, that's my personal preference. I feel sometimes the orange fencing can be a little bit harsh on the eyes, a little bit overbearing, and God, you know when you come off the track and you get stuck in one of them things, it's game over. You may as well just go back to the pits. It's not a pretty sight whatsoever. But I think just having a scroll through the number of downloads that different tracks have had, I'm pretty sure Paleta V2 is the top, if not like second from the top. It has got so many downloads, and I feel like it's one of them tracks that all of the new guys to the game will download. If you're new to the game, and you're kind of looking for a track to play, Paleta V2 or V1 as I'm playing right now is definitely the way to go, because it's that little step up from the stock tracks. However, not quite to the extent of the hard tracks. And I just noticed that double right there is a little bit different. It's a single roller on V2. I wonder why he changed that. But it's really nice. I like coming back and playing some of these old tracks from time to time just to see how far the game has come and progressed, because I know for someone like me that really has only had the game just over a year now, coming up to a year and a half nearly, I wasn't there for most of the OG stuff, and it's quite easy to take for granted what we have now when you kind of look back on what used to be. And I've been told that over the years, like some of the beta changes and stuff has not broken bikes, but had such like a massive change in gameplay, exactly how us newbies have experienced from beta 16 to beta 17, and it's happened multiple times. And you just have to think that there's people that have been here since day one, that have done this community a whole lot of good, and we wouldn't really be here without them. I'm not going to go off listing names, of course. The majority of people know who they are, but it's nice to see people have stuck around for this long and are kind of invested in this project and in this community. And I'm not sure, I can't speak on behalf of the game as a whole, but I'm not sure how frequently or regularly the updates were coming previously. But I mean, in the last year alone, there's been so many new updates coming to the game. And I'm not sure if that's now Proboso just really like putting a lot more time into the project. I know we had a bit of a hiatus just due to some like family issues at one point, but it looks like he's right back on it now, updating the game very regularly. I mean, we get almost daily development updates. If you're in the MXB mods Discord, you'll see those. We get updates almost every single day, and it's really nice, really promising to see. And I am quite excited for the future of the game and where we're going to end up in, who knows, like another a year, 2 years. And it would be nice to see what size the community gets to, because since I've been playing, I think the game's gone from like 300 peak players to over 1,000. I think it was like 1,500 at one point, which is just insane growth. And I think YouTube has a massive part to play on that. Obviously, not just me. It's definitely a contributing factor. But there's a whole bunch of channels out there that cover MX bike stuff. And I mean, in the first place, YouTube is how I came to learn about MX Simulator when I first started playing that, from watching YouTube videos. And I know as well that when you take other popular games like Minecraft absolutely blew up once people started watching that on YouTube. So like, I mean, no publicity is bad publicity, but when you get games that people really had no idea about, and you see it on YouTube, it's like, oh, hang on, what's this? I want to play this. And every single day I get comments asking if this game is on console or if it's coming to console. And unfortunately, the answer is always no, which is a shame because I'd love it to be a cross-platform game, just to have that bigger community for us. But obviously, you know, it's never going to happen unless that all suns and worlds line up together and something magical happens. But I mean, if you just take the base game of MX Bikes without any of the OEM mods, without any of the tracks and such, that is essentially what would be sold as the console game. And you can imagine that it probably wouldn't go very far at that point. I feel like the modding community is what very much keeps this game alive and going. Because can you imagine, or can you really think of how many hours, if you're like me and you've got like over 1,000 hours at this point, even if you've got maybe 300 plus, can you say that you'd do the same if you had just the stock MSM bikes and the stock tracks? Because I don't think I would. I think I would have got bored by now. And it's really nice that nearly every single day you can log on and find some new content to use, or to just to play on, whether it be like bike, whether it be new gear, whether it be new tracks. There's always something, and I think that's what keeps people here. So I'm excited for it. That's why I also like seeing the community grow as well, because it may be every one in, oh God knows, maybe 1 in every 50 people that shows up might be a content creator for the game and start making tracks and bikes and such. And it's nice. Like, the game needs the community, especially these OGs that have been around since 2011. And I guarantee that he's been around before 2011 as well. And then it's weird because now I feel like, in terms of bikes, I feel like I've been around a while, but I haven't at all. It's only been just over a year. And I know the old people will probably get quite frustrated with me saying that, but I just feel like in terms of game growth, I kind of got here just as it started picking off. So I feel like I joined at a good time. I wish I was around a little bit earlier, and I had exactly the same thing when I was playing Sim. I wish I started playing Sim a couple of years before I did, because it was really in its prime, just a little bit before I bought it. But you probably find that's why I got interested in it in the first place, and that's why I bought the game and started playing it, is because I saw these videos and these streams of these, like, quote unquote professional races going on, and I was such a competitive person back then. I still am now, but nowhere near to the extent that I was. That I just thought, you know what, I can do that. Let me get it, and then you hop on it, and you can't even go in a straight line for the first day of playing. It's like, oh God, what have I gotten myself into? But it's definitely they're both worth sticking out and putting the hours in until you can actually get around the track and you can actually enjoy yourself. And this track itself, there's not a whole lot to say in comparison to V2. It's very, very similar. Just minor changes here and there, mostly environment-wise, a tiny bit in the terrain. Like, them rollers are a lot more aggressive in V2. I feel like this jump and this jump here as well are basically identical. This little double around this corner it's more of like a roller single type thing in version 2. Other than that, it's very, very similar. I'm guessing that there was just more quality of life changes. I mean, the time gates and stuff work on this, no problem, so I can't imagine it was anything along those lines. But I mean, someone like TFC, it looks like he's always working on multiple projects at once. Maybe he used V2 to test out some other techniques that he hadn't used previously. And I'm never against having a new track. I always welcome new tracks with open arms. I'm pretty sure I've downloaded literally, well, nearly every single track that's appeared on MXB mods at this point. I do go through the forums every now and then to go through some digging, but majority of the links of the old tracks, they just don't work anymore. There used to be a website that was called like MXB Central, something along those lines. That website doesn't exist anymore, so unfortunately some tracks are lost to time. I imagine there's some people that have them in their downloads folder still from years and years ago, that just need to upload them again for other people to play with. But for the most part, MXB Mods is where I come across all of my tracks, and I think there's 17 pages of tracks on there in total, and I've been through them all. Like, I've had a look at everything just for videos and stuff. Every now and then one will catch my eye and be like, I've not made a video on that yet. Let me give it another try, see if it's worthy. And today this was exactly one of them. You know, I mean, I do really enjoy Paleta 2020 for racing, especially public lobbies. There always seems to be a public lobby going around with that track on. It seems to be quite a fan favourite. A lot of people like it, and I think the reason I like it more so than V1 and V2 is purely just the difficulty. There's a lot more pre-made rough on those tracks. It just looks a lot more professionally done. The decals are a bit nicer on the eyes. The off track's a little bit nicer as well. There's even you got some 2 Supercross tracks there as well. Just it gives it like a compoundy type feel, but it's better, and you can see the progression that TFC made in his tracks, and it's really great that he went through the effort of making tutorials and such for new people that want to get into track making as well. And as I say, he does seem to be like what was the leading force when it came to custom tracks way back in the day, and it's nice to see him still going around. I'm still sitting in great anticipation waiting for the AMA tracks to be done. I'm very excited to be able to race on those for a proper series. I think it'll probably be some of the best racing that we get. A lot of the tracks right now, they tend to just be, they're very wide open. There's not much technicality involved. It's absolutely pin it and apex as much as you can. Whereas I think TFC tends to go for more of like a one-to-one type scale, which is the sort of tracks I like. I do like it being a little bit tighter and twisty and more technical. I feel like it really suits my riding style, which is why I feel like I'm doing pretty good in the Supercross, especially with the Beta 17 traction and everything being so much more slippery now. I feel like me trying to be more precise and having better throttle control, and the tracks being so tight and twisty, it just really plays to my strengths, and I feel like I've proved that so far this year, and hopefully I can carry on doing that in the for the remainder of the season. We'll be 8 rounds in now, actually, at the point that you're watching this video, out of 17, so we're getting there. You know, we're almost halfway through. It feels like it's been going on for ages, but there's still so long left to go. But I'm just hope I can keep carrying on doing what I'm doing. I've essentially got like a race points lead in hand now, so I can even afford to miss a race if I needed to, which is a very good position to be in. But I mean, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you ever played Paleta V1. I guarantee that majority of you just started on V2 and then went to 2020. I know that when Charlie first started playing the game, I got him straight onto Paleta V2 as the first track that he should download, and just they're good tracks to practice like your very early whips and things like that, and carrying corner speed. I noticed that corner is nowhere near as banked as it is on V2, which makes it actually a lot more difficult. But the track itself is good, and I had to scroll through the are they real bikes over there, or are they PNGs? I feel like they're PNGs. Hang on, let's have a look. They are indeed PNGs. Okie dokie. I had a quick scroll through the thread on the forums as well, the original thread, and it looks like everyone was so happy when the track released at the time. Like, people saying it's the best track in bikes, and I can well imagine it. Granted, we've come a long way in track making. There's some very talented individuals out there providing for this community now, but it's nice to see where we've come from. And so not really take for granted what we've got now. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you do want to play the track, of course, I'll link it in the top of the description for you as always. If you've liked the video, please do drop a like. I always say it does help out the channel. It helps it get to more and more people, the more likes and comments the video has. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you like what you see here. I post every single day just to keep you guys entertained. And most importantly, whatever it is that you're up to for the rest of the day, I hope you have a lovely day. And until I catch you in the next video, peace.
My tent way too damn dark. Laugh in your face like man dark. Came a long way from the bad days way back. Had to burn down that landmark. Seen some things I didn't really want to see. It's all good, that's what made me me. Now who would I be if I had it easy? Used to break down, now I'm in a 350. Like whoa, I've been laying way too low. Had to switch up and change my flow, cause I'm back from the block. Had to bust the rocks and dust off the dust to get back in the box. Now why you wanna